this was something that's a bit more interesting. I feel like this guy, with some of the things he's saying, um, it's more interesting for me to react to this and engage with this than the typical shit that I be reacting to, because this isn't something that's outright goofy or wrong in my opinion. And there's aspects of what this guy is saying that I can understand and maybe even agree with, but there's some issues with it. But I wanted to actually talk about this and react to this because one of my biggest criticisms of you passport bro niggas is that you do not abide by your original philosophy with that movement or the ideology, which is to go and find fit, feminine friendly wives. Most of you are chasing harlots and putting harlots up in the spotlight. That is what the vast majority of you are doing. Okay, so most of the time we're not getting the representation of the guys who've actually gone to these countries and gotten actual women and wives, right? Now, this dude, he's not that. This guy has gotten that, okay? This is why the title is How She Became My Wife. Rules most men never learn about guidance. So the How She Became My Wife part, okay, is him. He's with a Filipina, and he's living with her in Pattaya, which is a whole other thing I might get into, because that shit there, to me, I just, whatever. But yeah, we're gonna break this one down. So I'm gonna run this. It better be in 1 point. Yeah, we got it 1.5. It's 11 minutes. So I feel like I do want to react to most of it. I'm gonna put it 1.75. Okay, if you want it in normal speed, then obviously you can go watch the original on BMT's channel, BMT Live.
It's important for a man to have control of his woman's friendships. If you don't have control of the friends that your woman hangs around, you're not really a masculine man at the end of the day.
Hold on, let me run it back because I didn't have the full thing. Even though I think it's playing clips from later on, but still.
When I ask for a phone, she gives me her phone. Like I said, I know who she's following. I know who her friends are. It's important for a man. It's important for a man to have control of his woman's friendships. If you don't have control of the friends that your woman hangs around, you're not really a masculine man at the end of the day. I dated online for 4 months straight with my girlfriend. We didn't touch, we didn't hug, we didn't kiss. We literally talked every day, 7 days a week, nonstop, online, until we actually met each other, which really worked out for us and made our relationship, our connection more stronger and more deeper. But I just feel like, I don't know, man. As I get older, I know we always say, look.
Okay, so he was online dating for 4 months, like for several months, with this Filipina, which is a very common thing. They've been doing that for probably maybe since before even I was born. I don't know. They've been doing that, well, maybe not that long, because the internet wasn't really a thing like that, so definitely not. But a little, whilst I was still in my younger years, in my childhood, I wouldn't be surprised if they've been running it since then, since the 2000s. But so you met her online, but who else was she talking to? Do you get what I'm saying? Now, me personally, yeah, and I don't know, any of the 5 niggas that watch this video, you can let me know if you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say. But personally, for me, I feel as though, like, if a chick's on a dating app, I don't know if that's what she was on, but it sounds like she was on some kind of dating app when he started talking to her. If a chick's online on a dating app, to me personally, I just feel like she's kind of cooked. And that includes over in Asia. In fact, in Asia, I actually think it's worse to a certain degree than in the West when it comes to that. Because those women, particularly in the Philippines and in Thailand, those 2 countries especially, they make themselves so readily available to foreigners that it's like it's too easy for someone else to get with that chick. Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, to me personally, I'm just gonna be honest. Like, the standards I have, I don't really see how I could take 99% of the chicks in Thailand or the Philippines seriously. I just couldn't do it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I've met some lovely women in Southeast Asia, but I think those 2 countries in particular, and let's be clear, when I say Thailand, I'm not just talking about Pattaya, like, which is what most of these niggas are doing when they talk about Thailand. I'm saying in general. I just think, like, yeah, outside of the major cities, it's not as bad. You know what I'm saying? But even then, there's too much cultural barriers and differences for me personally. But for a lot of guys, and this guy, I think he's one of these guys, a lot of guys just want a woman who, just cooks and cleans. She shut the fuck up. I cook, I clean, I shut the fuck up. Right? A lot of guys just want that. So if that's what you want, right? If that's what you're looking for, then you're gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to, as he's about to get to, you might have to adjust your expectations in terms of her looks, though.
Matter and attraction matter. It's not as important. It's not as important, man. When you want peace, when you want communication, when you want emotional intelligence, when you want no headaches, no arguing, I'll settle for the 5 or the 4.
Nah. Now I will say this. This is a good mentality. This is a good mentality to have, right? And no offense to this dude, especially because I'm not showing my face on my channel, but I don't give a fuck. I'm here to talk some shit. I'm gonna be real. He's being realistic. Now, I will say this. Like, it's kind of crazy to think, you work up, build up yourself and all this. You work on yourself, and then you're like, yeah, man, I'm gonna go to the Philippines, thousands of miles away from America, and I'm gonna get a 5. But a 5 just means average, by the way. People act like 5 is below average. 5 just means average. But like I said, my standards is different to a lot of guys in certain respects because I want to have the character, the personality, and the looks. You know what I'm saying? Now, some guys might be like, man, that's a bit... I've already had it. My ex-girlfriend that I had here in London in the UK for 4 years, you know what I'm saying? I already had that from her. And I was younger. I was more broke. I had less life experience. I had a lot less going for myself. What he's getting at is that when you get older, you become more of a pragmatist, right? And I get that. If your ambition and goal is to settle down, have a family, I'm going to be honest with you. And I'm starting to notice this as I'm getting older, yeah, and closer to my 30s. It is hard to find the exact thing you want, the exact way you want, and not compromise. It's hard to see it. Like, I'm one of these guys, like, I sound like these modern chicks out here with the whole idea of like, I'm not going to compromise, I'm not going to settle. I sound like them. But the problem for me is I've already experienced it. I already had a woman who fit a lot of the things I wanted, but because of where I was at in life, it just didn't work out. Like, when it comes to that, yeah, he's right. For a lot of guys, you are going to get over the looks thing, or you're going to need to get over the looks thing. Because if you don't get over the looks thing, for a lot of guys, they ain't going to get any results. Like, if your thing is, oh, I want a wife, a lot of you need to adjust your expectations, because a lot of the goals that you want for that type of relationship, they're not going to be going. And especially when we get into the other stuff this guy starts saying, a lot of you guys are not going to be able to achieve that with a certain type of woman. And that's why he's saying what he's saying. He's saying, I'll take the 5. He better. Because for the things he's demanding, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that is the mark of a man that's mature.
Yeah.
When you're in your teens, early 20s, you want the baddest. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I want
the baddest
man.
looking girl, the baddest body.
Had the lips.
Yeah,
Olive Berry lips,
But
Beyonce, all
as
that.
you start going through experiences with these women,
Yeah.
It's like the headache is not worth it.
Not worth it.
Man, shut up, BMT. You ain't going through no experiences with no baddies, man. Stop it. Stop it. These guys be killing me. You go through experiences with women and you realise it's a headache. No, what you mean is you get played by these women and get used for foodie calls. You get used for foodie calls by these women. You be getting the church hug at the end. Where she's got her ass stuck out. You get the one arm hug and the peck on the cheek. Yeah, that's what you mean by that you get. It's not worth the time, the stress, the hassle, the money. Yeah.
The money invested, and especially in America, it's like,
You see what he said? The money invested. Yeah, that's right. Because you weren't that, bro. Listen, let me tell you something. When you're, I can't be talking about money invested in the West. I don't look. A lot of the day, and I've done here, I don't be investing hell of money in chicks, bro. Now, I get what you're saying. Girls want you to do that. I understand. But if you're attractive, you don't need to be doing that.
you're almost dating a prostitute because of the culture of how it is, and you're not really getting anything out of it necessarily.
What's wrong with that? You guys be dating prostitutes overseas anyway. I get it. You just want the cheaper version, right?
A lot of rules for my partner as well. Like one, she can't shake man hand. Like guys can't, she can't shake no man hand without my permission. That's one. She can't post no bikini pictures online. No, another thing, she don't wear no skirts, no titties or ass out. I dress her in a lot of classy and just very classy and proper clothes, so she's not walking around Pattaya looking like a soy 6 girl. I buy her clothes for her. I help her with shopping. We always make sure her hair and nails is done.
So he's saying, so she's not walking around Pattaya looking like a soy 6 girl. But here's my thing though, like, why are you there with, like, why are you in Pattaya of all places with your woman, bro? That's what I don't understand. Like, why are you there? Like, of all the places in Thailand you could go, I just find it weird. Like, why do you niggas have to be in Pattaya so badly, bro? Like, and I feel like I know what the answer is. Because if you got the woman under lock and key like that, something tells me, now I'm not hating if that's what it is, but I'm just saying.
So that's important. facial routine's important. You know, make sure you're doing beauty products. She can't. I don't even like her. And I always tell her, man, you know, don't even speak to a man when you're in my presence. You know, if a man approaches us or asks us a question, I speak for us. Don't ever speak to a man. Don't ever smile in a man's face. Don't ever accept a free drink. Don't accept anything from a man. She knows all this stuff. Don't ever let nobody touch her. And you know, she knows mean mug. Look. If a guy look at you, mean mug that. Look angry. I don't want you a guy even thinking he has a chance with you whatsoever. You know, like make an ugly face. And I always tell her as well, make sure you keep your distance. Make sure nobody comes within your space. So I got a lot of rules. I don't even let people touch her hair. You know, my girlfriend's hair is down to the floor. So I don't even let her go to hair salons. You know, like, because the jealousy of so many women have like cut her hair, you know, cut people like her hair off because they're so jealous. So I don't even let her go to hair salon. I don't let people touch her hair. I don't let male masseuse massager. No man masseuse. We only get women masseuses. We only get women hairstylists.
That one's understandable.
I don't let her hang out with friends who like to go to clubs, friends who like to dress hoish, friends who smile at other niggas' faces. Like, if she got a girlfriend and that girlfriend smiling when she got a man, she don't even hang out with her. That's like, all right, we cut them off. When I say you can't hang out with her, she immediately blocks her. You know, she don't follow no private accounts on her Instagram or Facebook. We don't do none of that. She don't follow no man. She follow me. She follow my friends.
I just love the way he's like, she don't follow no man. She don't follow no man. Okay, she don't smile in a man's face. She don't smile in a nigga's face. She don't follow no man. Here's my thing about this. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. There's a couple things I'm gonna say at this point, right? The first thing I'm gonna say is, this is the type of guy I'm gonna be real with you, and it's gonna sound funny saying this, but I'm glad the dude looks like this. Now, what do I mean by that? This is the type of guy, before Passport Bros, and any of you that are actually like being around in the black travel sector for a while, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say this. This type of guy, like this look, this attitude, his voice, the whole thing, this was the type of guy that was meant to be what Passport Bros is. This is what Passport Bros is for. The reason I'm saying this is because I'm so sick and tired of seeing these niggas who's sitting up here, tatted up, pookie maxed, you know, the dreads and the yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, man, you know, we outside, man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Like, why am I seeing that type of Negro representing Passport Bros? Like, I don't want to see that fucking motherfucker, because you're already what's running around here in the West. You're the problem. The pookie, like, type of dude is the problem. This guy is not. Like, I'm not saying he couldn't have pookie tendencies, but this is not the pookie archetype. This is not a guy who's pookie maxed himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, I'm not saying he couldn't be pookie whatsoever, right? But this guy is not trying to go with that typical style of trying to appeal to that from what I've seen. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's no surprise to me that he's one of the guys who's gone for getting a wife. He reminds me of a lot of the guys I used to listen to in the black travel sector before the pandemic producers came around, right? When these guys would go to like South America and the DR and stuff, and they'd be getting fucking, you know, they're like, yeah, man, my woman, you know, I control this, I control that. And then, you know, 6 months later, you know, they're back on the fucking live stream on the Google Hangout. And they're on Google Hangouts crying about how the bitch is, you know, she a bitch anyway, man. You know what I'm saying, man? She was just like moving like a propago. Like, anyone who was there back then, you know, these kinds of dudes were around, and they all had this type of a story. So to me, Passport Bros is meant to be this. This is what Passport Bros is. It's not meant to be these dreadhead fucking. I'm not saying you can't dreads, but it's just, you know what I'm talking about. This rapper like Pookie Max look. I don't fuck with it. I don't like it. I can be cool with people who look like that. Don't get it twisted, but I just don't like that being the default representation, because it's already the default representation in the West. I feel like Passport Bros is meant to represent the type of black guy that wasn't getting representation in the West, who wasn't getting a chance to have his say. That's what I feel like it's supposed to do. But most of the guys that are getting a lot of the attention are Pookie Max dudes. You know what I'm saying? Look at a lot of the guys that are top dudes. A lot of these guys are guys that would have been, in my personal view, they should have been winning in the West anyway. So it's like, nigga, you don't need to go and travel. I'm not saying you can't travel. You can travel. It's your life. You can do what you want. You should travel. But what I'm saying is you don't. Passport Bros was these niggas needed to leave to get the type of woman they wanted. And a lot of the guys that I see who get a lot of the representation, a lot of the airtime in the Passport Bros space, and I feel like it's not actually something anyone talks about, but I think a lot of those dudes, quite frankly, they don't really represent what Passport Bros was kind of originally created for. And again, these tend to be a lot of the same dudes running through hoes and sleeping around. I don't know. Like, it's just, I just think it's all of a fucking mess. But regardless, anyway, this guy here, with what he was just saying about the controlling aspects of it, and he's, you know, I guess saying it's not controlling, but his whole thing about, yeah, she can't look in another man's face. My thing is this, yeah, and I've always thought like this, even since I was 18 years old. Why do you need to do all of that? And let me be very clear in what I'm asking. I'm not saying that you're wrong to want your woman to be like that. I think the things he wants is good, because a lot of guys want that. I don't think there's a lot of men who want their woman smiling in another man's face. I don't think there's a lot of men who want their woman getting free drinks from another man. There's not a lot of guys, like a lot of the things he's saying he doesn't want his woman to do. Most guys, on average, if they're being honest with themselves, they also don't want their woman doing those things, right? They want those same, but the difference is we'd prefer she did it herself. Do you get what I'm saying? We don't want to have to police her and micromanage her. Okay, listen, when I've worked for companies and been in supervising and managerial positions, I'm not a micromanaging type. And I used to get shit from other people who were managers, because sometimes they'd be like, yo, you know, you gotta micromanage these people, right? And like, they wouldn't say it like that, but they basically tell me I gotta be more on their heads. And I'm like, man, I ain't doing all that extra shit. Like, if they're doing their job and they're doing it the way they're supposed to do it, I trust them to independently do their job the way they're supposed to do their job. Okay? And even though we're working with tech and stuff like that, these people are competent, right? They're competent people. They know what they're doing. And if they don't know what they're doing, then I can instruct them on what to do. But I don't need to go and run around and you need to get off your phone and no. For what? If they're doing their job and I'm not seeing an actual impact on productivity, if I'm not seeing that it's actually worsening their work output, if it's not ruining the bottom line, why does it matter if they go on their phone for a bit or whatever, or if they want to, you know, even put a little movie on, a little Netflix show? Why does it matter if their mental health, if their peace of mind is going to be better as a, because they're a human being, they're not a slave, bro. If that's the case, you might as well just replace motherfuckers with AI. This is why a lot of companies are doing that, by the way, because that's what they want. They don't give a fuck about your humanity. They want the drones. They just want the results. They only hire you because they feel like they have to. You know what I'm saying? But trust me, as AI takes off more, a lot of these companies are going to replace motherfuckers and you're going to get phased the fuck out, because they would prefer to have their employees like this guy. And I will say this in defense of him, because of the fact that he's taking care of his woman and he pays for everything, and she left her job to basically be with him, he basically is her boss. So a lot of the things, I would say to a lot of guys to think of it like from that framing, that he's basically her employer, and he's saying, if you want to stay working at this company, here's what the code of conduct is. Here's how you have to conduct yourself. Here's the rules and regulations. You can't, and you know, just like in a lot of companies, especially a lot of corporate places, you're going to have a lot of shit you cannot do, like what I just said, right? And a supervisor or a manager, which is basically what he is, or the boss, they're going to enforce all of that, and they're going to be strict on that. Now, you got some supervisors and some managers, like how I am, who are cool. Everyone had those cool managers, the supervisor, like, oh, I fuck with him. He don't really be on your head too much. He be chill. He don't be doing too much. He don't be micromanaging. And guess what? The results are the fucking same. Like, my biggest argument all the time when I would work for companies and they would be like, you got to micromanage, you got to do this. I'd always be like, okay, but let's look at the people who do the micromanaging, and let's look at someone like myself who doesn't do that. Now, you show me objectively where you're outperforming on the days when you're doing that versus on the days when I'm not doing that. You get what I'm saying? But companies don't want to ever be logical like that. Motherfuckers don't want to be logical like that. I know it sounds like I'm going off into a tangent, but bro, this is all related. Like, this is the type of shit I think of when I hear stuff like what he's saying. It's like, okay, you're telling her you can't do this, I'm going to control this, you can't be on that, don't do this, don't do that. You're telling her a whole list of shit not to do. I don't know how old this woman is, because that's important as well. But I'm sure he's not the first guy in her life. I'm sure she wasn't a virgin, yeah? I don't know what the body count is, I have no idea. But if she was on dating apps and all of this, it's very possible she was getting... You know, I don't want to disrespect the guy's wife, but, you know, she seems like a nice lady. But I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's Southeast Asia. I'm sorry. Like, for me personally, I just feel like they're too easy to access if they're online. And you met her online, and you were not the first guy in her DMs, bro. And in them months, when you was talking to her, you were talking to her every day and all that, I believe you, sure. But I don't know, man. I'm sure he did his due diligence. He seems like he's smart enough to have picked the right, you know, to have gone hunting in the right ponds, to go fishing in the right ponds. I don't know, but I don't know. For me personally, I'm just highly skeptical of Southeast Asian women when it comes to long-term relationships. Personally, I don't know. Like, I think it can work. I definitely think it can work, but this is the type of shit a lot of these guys end up feeling like they have to do. They have to really control this woman. And that's why he's over in Asia. Because let's be real, that shit ain't riding in most other fucking places. That shit ain't riding in most of Latin America. You try to tell a Latina, you better do this, you better. She'll do it herself if she wants to do it. Bro, I had one Korean chick. She wasn't even my girlfriend. But she cut off a bunch of dudes that was trying to talk to her. She was in another country. She had a guy literally trying to, in her DMs. And it was a Brad as well. And this is a Korean we're talking about. And I'm black. So she had a Brad. You know what I'm saying? Trying to, and I wasn't with her in a relationship, so I didn't give a fuck what she was doing. But even so, because she wanted to try and prove to me that she could be in position to be my woman, she was like blowing off this other dude and saying I'm not interested and and whatever else. I don't know. I don't really care whether she was doing it for real or not doing it, because I was not trying to be with her in a long-term relationship. But the point is, that is something that she chose to do. Okay? I didn't have to tell her to do it. I'm not going to control you, because one thing with women, especially in this day and age, is that they will turn around in 5, 10, 15 years and be like, you controlled me, you told me to do this, I didn't want to do it, you ruled my life, he abused me. Bro, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's worth it, but anyway, let's carry on.
Celebrities, some of her family members, her cousins and stuff like that, but she don't follow no niggas at all. And I also have her codes, I have her passwords, I'm on her accounts and stuff like that. You know, like, you know, people say, oh, you know, that's controlling as fuck. No, it's not controlling if you're in a relationship with somebody. You know, if I'm in a relationship with you, you shouldn't feel like you're being controlled. I'm a protector. My job is to protect you. And, you know, and that's what I try to explain to my girlfriend as well. You know,
I mean, it is by definition controlling. You are literally trying to control every aspect of her life. Again, it's not just a romantic relationship. That's why I use the analogy of a workplace with managers and supervisors. It's the same thing. That is being controlling. Now, you're correct that, you know, it's your duty when you're in that kind of supervisional role, in that kind of role where you're managing over someone. Sure, if that's what you want to do. But I think it's just about managerial styles. Do you want to be the kind of guy where you've got to have oversight over every aspect of what your woman's doing? Or are you the kind of person where you want a woman who you can trust to actually be a bit more like, you know, and I made a video about this years ago. Yeah, I made a video about this on my old channel years ago. I called it universal submission versus selective submission. Okay, this video is maybe about 5-6 years old now. And it's crazy because in my video, I actually directly referenced Filipinos. I might re-upload that after this video actually. But it's crazy because I directly used Filipinos as an example. And on the thumbnail, I had a Filipina as the representation of universal submission. Okay, and that's because I was talking about, even back then, about guys going to the Philippines to get this universally submissive woman, which is what he's done. He's gone and done that. So I already knew about this. I called this out years ago. This is why you niggas need to subscribe to me, man, because I'm ahead of my time. I may not be fucking famous or whatever, but I'm ahead of this shit. So, but yeah, like, I literally called it out back then because what I said is the same position I hold now, which is I want a selectively submissive woman. Now, the problem with this is that most of you guys can't get that selection. The problem with the selectively submissive woman is she has to select you, right? And if she doesn't select you, then the issue is that it's not going to necessarily work, right? Because she's not going to give you the things you want. But there are women out there who are attractive, who are good, who will do all the things he's talking about just off their own back. But even better than that, and this is the thing where I do take a bit of issue with what he said. Why didn't you just find a woman who already fit those parameters beforehand? You see what I'm saying? Like, one of the big things for me that I do agree with him on, but I disagree with how he approached it, is when he said that he doesn't want a woman to have any, like, friends that are hoes or club girls. Like, he don't want, like, her to have, like, party girl type of friends. I 100% agree. But here's the thing. There are women out here who don't hang out with those types of women anyway. Why didn't you just get one of those girls? See, what I don't agree with, because I see how it tends to create a lot of issues down the road, is when you find someone and what you do is you try to come in and shape them and mold them to be what you want, and they have to make all these drastic changes to fit what you want, as opposed to you finding someone who already has a lot of those things. Like, they don't have to be 100%, but they're at least about 70, 80%. Because it sounded like this guy had to restructure her whole fucking life, bro. It sounded like he had to change the whole lifestyle around. Like, he was like, I'm going to take care of you now. And it sounds like this Filipina, she basically just wanted that man to take care of her. So she was like, fuck it, I will just get rid of all this shit just so he can pay for everything and take care of me. Because that's really what it boils down to. She's getting her whole lifestyle paid for. And I'm assuming maybe she's never had that. So she's looking at it like, fuck it, he's willing to pay for everything, so I'm just going to cook, clean, and shut the fuck up. But to me, that's not... Like, that's the type of woman where it's kind of like, she can grow to resent you. She's still a human being, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's still a human being. And to a certain degree, she's going to have her own brain. And when you're not there, like, where is she right now? She's not with you right now. Wherever she is right now, she could be sitting there thinking to herself, like, you know, like, let them bring themselves to your service. That's where the strongest loyalty comes from. It comes from people who willingly choose to bend the knee, not the ones you force to do it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's the people who come to you and they're like, please let me serve you. Please let me, I want to be a part of this. It'd be different if she was a chick that he was just talking to, right? And then she was like, listen, I'm going to cut these guys off. I'm going to block them. I would, like, if she came to him saying she's going to do all of that because she wants to show and prove herself to him, that's different. But this is more a matter of your employees just complying with the guidelines so they don't get fired. But as we all know, you can be an employee and comply with the guidelines, but you know you're rolling your eyes, kissing your teeth, you know what I mean? You're fucking talking shit under your breath about the manager. Like, man, fuck that nigga, man. Fuck this guy, always trying to fucking tell me I can't do this. Fuck this shit. I can't wait till I leave this job. I'm gonna be my own man. I'm gonna be a millionaire. I'm gonna be a rapper, nigga. I'm gonna drop a diss track on that nigga. Right? So, but yeah, let's carry on, man, so I don't long this out too much.
When we walk our lead, we always watch our around surroundings as well. For my job, I'm a protector at the end of the day. I always make her walk on the curb side. I always open the door. She knows, you know, I always make sure that she gets, you know, usually she gets in the car. When she gets in the car, man, I get in the car with, like, I make sure she's in the car a certain way. I remember I saw a guy yesterday. He just jumped in the car with his and let his girlfriend get in last. He didn't even open the door for her. You know, man. I pay for every bill. I never let her pick up a bill. You know, man. I don't let her tell me when her nails need to get done. I get them done. Usually on weekend basis. I don't need her to tell me when her hair needs to get done. You know, I usually doing her hair or I'm helping her with her hair. You know, stuff like that. But I don't let her tell. You know, I just keep a high list of things. She cooks. She cleans. She works.
She shuts the fuck up.
Help me make money and everything. Yeah.
Did you see yourself, you know, I'm not wishing that question don't work out, but did you ever see yourself dating a woman from the West again after this?
No, I can never see myself dating a woman because I know respectfully that a woman from the West would not abide by my rules. Like, you know, even like
100%.
I saw a woman in the cafe.
Unless, and this is the thing, a woman from the West is going to be selectively submissive, right? She doesn't need to abide by your rules because she is going to impose them on herself if she thinks you're like that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, the vast majority of women in the West, their problem is they don't even have the capacity to do it for any guy. Even a guy that would be worth it. That's where Western women's problem is, because they self-sabotage and ruin relationships even with men that they actually like. This is the big thing about Western women. That's how you know they're so fucking cooked, because even when they actually want to be with a guy, they still will fuck up the relationship. So it's not even just a matter of, you know, them playing guys they don't like and stuff like that. Even the guys they do like, they still fuck it up. They still can't get past themselves and their own ego. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still can't set their pride to one side. So even with the men that they want, even the top percentile of guys, they can't even hold that shit down because of their fucking trifling ways. So Western women are cooked because they self-sabotage too much, right? Now, what these other women, like his woman, understand a lot better. And this is one of the reasons why, even when it comes to the pay for placing, even when guys are tricking, one of the reasons why a lot of those things is better in these other countries, whether you're going for pros and hoes or wives, is because the women don't tend to get in their own way as much. Now, don't get it twisted. It can happen. But they tend to do one of two things. They either go with your program or they go with your program up until a point until they can upgrade to another program, right? Whether that's to be independent or whether that's to get with another guy who's doing better than you in their mind. But regardless, they tend to understand playing their position. Even if they just got to play their position for the long game so that they can eventually get the fuck out. But they understand that they do have to play their position at a certain point. So when they look at the situation, they're like, all right, man, this guy's got a lot of money, or relative to me, he can sort me out, he can sponsor me, he can get me what I need to get, They will play that position. Western women, they will know a guy has what they need, and they'll still be talking crazy to him. Oh, you know, I don't need you for shit. They'll be telling the guy they don't need him for shit, but they know that they're fucking sitting there dreading the first of the month. They're dreading the day the landlord about to pull up. They're dreading it. Okay? They're not looking forward to having to deal with, you know, looking at their bank account on the 20th of the month. Because by the time they get to that point in the month, there ain't shit left in there. Right? So, trust me, like, I get where he's coming from in certain respects. That's why I want to react to this, because it's not like a clear-cut, easy, like, straight-up thing to just straight-up disagree with him, because there's merit to what he's saying. My biggest hurdles with a lot of what he's saying is I just think you should find someone who selects to do these things themselves, who will police themselves, and you can provide guidance, okay, on that. But they should want to do it.
With the booty shorts on, you know, up to the vagina area, you know, and she was with her man. And I was just like, you know, no way, you know, not, you know, like my partner.
I get that.
That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, it might not have been his girl. Like,
No, I was a girl.
It was a girl.
You can tell that was a girl.
Okay, because
And a lot of guys
I'm in Brazil, I'm just
Yeah.
hanging out with a chick.
Brazil.
It's like whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
but if it's my main lady, it's like, no, you know what I'm saying?
No, I remember my girlfriend. I remember when she first moved to Pattaya, and she didn't know what the culture was like, and I was like, you know, the women were in Pattaya with the chest was out, skirts up, ass was showing, and my girl didn't understand like the way men looked at women. I had to teach her. I'm like, listen, these guys are looking at those women because they want to sleep with them. These guys are looking at you because you look like a wife. You look like someone they want to marry. We want to fuck them, but we don't want to take them home to our mothers. And you, we want to put a baby in you. We want to give you a house. We want to give you a life.
Right.
And you know,
Take care of
and
you.
we want to take care of you.
Like,
So my girlfriend comes in, classy, sundressed, you know, hair, nails done, makeup done, and then you got Pattaya, you got somebody with the titties and some ass out, and you expected me to give you a house? You expected me.
But here's the question though, and this is the thing, yeah, because you said you had to teach her that, but here's my thing. Why did you have to teach her that? What was she saying or thinking that led to you having to teach her the difference? Because it sounds like, and I don't know, but it sounds like the part you're not saying is that she was looking at those women like, oh, you know, wow, I kind of want to, you know, it sounds like she wanted to dress like that. It sounds like she thought that's what she's supposed to do, right? This is why I said I was going to circle back to this. Why the fuck did you bring her to Pattaya? Like, if your thing is you want to impose rules, I don't want a man looking at you, you brought her to the worst place in all of fucking Asia. That, like, Southeast Asia, South Asia, East Asia, that is legitimately the worst place in the entire fucking continent of Asia to take a woman to be a wife. Why would you bring her around harlots and whores? It makes no fucking sense. Women are so impressionable. So you're going to bring her somewhere where she's going to see that lifestyle. And remember, these are Southeast Asian women just like her. She's going to see white men with them. She's going to see guys in shape with them. Because, nigga, you ain't the only nigga there. I'm out there too. A lot of us are out there too. So now what? She's going to see guys that's younger than you, right? She's going to see guys that's in good shape, tall, handsome, and they got money. This is the thing about Southeast Asia. I'm not saying they've got as much money as you, but some do, and some have got more. And this is the thing, like, again, I'm not saying that means she has to go and get with them, right? That's why he's putting these restrictions in place. Because he knows that in a place like Southeast Asia, he needs to do that. See, it's funny, he said in the West, a woman wouldn't follow those rules, right? But the funny thing is that because of the fact that women in the West are so selective, they wouldn't need to follow those rules. Because if they've chosen to be with you and they actually like you, 9 out of 10 times, they're not going to need all of that. Now, don't get twisted. Yeah, there's a lot of women who do too much and they're flirting with other guys and they're talking about work husbands. I've experienced this. I've been on the receiving end of this a lot. So I know this. But at the end of the day, that's because they don't actually like or respect the dudes they're with that much. That's what it boils down to. That's what the fucking problem is. Okay? That guy got with a woman who just got with him because it's convenient. She just got with him because it's like, he's decent enough to be my boyfriend. He pays for the bills. Or he'll pay for taking me out. I mean, okay, yeah, I go 50-50 with him, but you know what I mean? Like, there's a bunch of reasons why she'll be with a guy, but she won't necessarily really like him or respect him like that. You get what I'm saying? And a lot of times it's just for her to be able to say she's got a man. Just to have someone to bring down the cost of living, just to help with the bills, or whatever it is, right? So Western women, like I said, they get in their own way and they have a lot of goofiness. Their strategies just don't really make a lot of sense when it comes to the long term. But in Southeast Asia and in Asia in general, they're raised a lot better to understand how to play the game so that they can get what they need for a longer period of time. I'm not saying she'll leave him. I'm not saying she don't care about him. I don't know their relationship enough. But based on the things he's saying and based on the things he seems to have had to have made her do, it just sounds like she wasn't already like that. And all I'm thinking is if she wasn't already like that, she's not, like, in her spirit, I don't think that's who she is then. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I don't know. Like, to me, it sounds like the type of thing where later on she can turn around and be like, oh, he made me do this. And da, da, da. I don't know, man. Like, it just sounds like I don't know.
Like, I studied in Oxford, got my master's from University City Business School, got this education, making good money, and you expected me to everything I work for, give it to you, which you're just giving to everyone out there already. You know, like, everyone has seen what you're bringing to the table, and
Facts.
you have set this, you have put yourself in a position where you can't come back from. Sometimes some of these girls get online and they take pictures, and some of those pictures can't be deleted. And you know, so
Big
it's just
facts.
like you got to hold a standard
Big
for yourself
facts.
sometimes. Especially if you're trying to be white as well. You know, I mean, my girlfriend is
Big facts.
Is from a village. She ain't. You would never hear her people saying like they used to date her or used to be with her. You would never hear something like that, man. She only ever dated 2 guys in her whole life. At the end of the day. And like I
Okay,
said,
there we go. There's the answer. So she dated 2 guys in her whole life. Now, my question is, are you talking about 2 guys that were Filipino or were they foreigners? You know what I'm saying? Like, were they Filipino dudes or were they foreigners? Like, that's what I'm kind of more wondering. I guess it doesn't really matter, but even though I'm saying what I'm saying and I'm kind of giving him some pushback, I do respect the fact that at least he wanted to get a wife and an actual serious relationship, and he's not out here doing the same old fucking content on his channel showing him, hey, I was 4 a.m. in Pattaya or you know, like 3 a.m. in Vietnam. Like, he's not doing the same old fucking shit. He's actually trying to show him in a relationship. He's trying to show something stable. And the only problem is, when it comes to this is where it starts to get to, I don't know about all that. This is where the criticism's going to come in. This is where, you know, the fucking, the haters and the women and the Western women, this is where now they can latch onto something like, see, I knew there was something wrong with it. I knew. This is where it comes in now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to be real, like, he's not a conventionally attractive dude. So a lot of people are going to kind of look at it like, well, if he didn't have money, she isn't going to put up with all that shit. And I think that is true. We have to be real about that. He had to go and find a pretty downtrodden woman to get the results he wanted. Now, fair enough. If he's got what he wants and if she's getting what she wants, it is what it is. I would just say for any other guys, if you're thinking about doing what he's doing, just please understand that it may not last very long, or it could blow up in your face, or that woman could become resentful. Like, I'm not going to wish this on him, but I feel like I have to just put it out there because it is something that can be accurate. A lot of times, when you hear about these women, these housewives and whatever, who want to like set up these plans to get rid of their husband so they can get access to his money or whatever, a lot of times it's because the guy was trying to run shit like this. You get what I'm saying? Like, a lot of times that's what leads to these women trying to set dudes up, trying to get rid of them, or we had an accident, and you know what I'm saying? Because they don't really want him, they want the money he's got, and this nigga's just a big, you know, a big black barricade that's in the way. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, well, I can't get around this barricade yet, so I'll just deal with this shit. I'm not saying that she don't like him. Again, I'm just talking generally when I say that. But, yeah.
she's just being loyal to me, you know. But when I ask for her phone, she gives me her phone. Like I said, I know who she's following. I know who her friends are. It's important for a man, it's important for a man to have control of his woman's friendships. If you don't have control of the friends that your woman hangs around, you're not really a masculine man at the end of the day. Because if that woman's hanging around with someone who is hoish, or someone who has some slutty ways, or so what are slutty ways? If your girl's in the club accepting free drinks, you're not a man. You know, that's some bitch ass shit. I'm just gonna be straight up with you. If you letting your girl accept free drinks from another man,
Okay, this is the problem. So he said, if you letting your girl, that's some bitch shit. If you letting your girl, hold on a minute. Now this I'm definitely going to give some pushback on. I think it's weaker of a man to feel the need to step in. Listen, when I was in my relationship before, again, like I said, my ex was very attractive, bro. I would go out with her. And when I went out with her initially to the club, there were guys who would, in my face, try and move to her and try and rizz her up. And so what I would do is I'd say, all right, and I'd step back. See, most guys in that situation, what they're going to do is they're about to rile up, get out of her face, yeah, oh, I'm her man, I'm her fucking, and create a whole fucking thing. Do you know what? I step back, I'm like, okay. It's not because I'm scared of this guy. It's because I understand this is a test for her. Not for him. I don't give a fuck about that nigga. Who the fuck is he? He's just a nigga in the club. Also, I am a man, and I respect the game. I know what time it is. Now, me personally, I'm not about to run up on another man's woman in his face. But I know dudes is grimy, like I said earlier. So I know what you're doing, nigga. I see the play. Alright, cool. You're just trying to get it in. I get it. I've got a beautiful woman. And this is another thing. That's one of the reasons why he said he's okay with lowering the beauty standards. Because for him, with how he looks, For him to be able to control and maintain the things he wants the way he wants, he has to do that. He's not getting no dime to do all of that shit. Even guys who are attractive with money are going to struggle to make a dime do all that type of stuff. You have to be built a certain type of way for that woman, for that shit to even happen. Okay? So, when I had my relationship with my ex, because I knew she was attractive, I knew whether I'm with her or not with her, guys are going to be trying to approach her, especially in London. And she was mixed, right? She was mixed race. So, black guys especially, they're always color struck, right? She's got big titties and all that. You know what they're going to do. They got a pretty face, curly hair. They're running up on her, right? They're going to go do what they got to do. They're going to see her. Oh my God. I get it. Because if I saw her outside, I want a cold approach too. You know what I'm saying? And because I understand that, I don't get as mad at dudes because I'm like, I get it. Like, I get it. I would move to her too. Because she is fucking beautiful. So I understand. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I don't think you can get her. But if you can, then shit, take her off me, nigga. That's how I view it. I view it like, if you can take my woman, she ain't my woman. That's how I view it. So I'm going to step back because I'm not about to fight over a woman. Too many guys get into beefs and fight over a woman and then the woman moves on and is fucking another dude the next week. Fuck all that. I'm not doing all that. So I'm going to step back because she a grown-ass woman. And when I'm not with her, she needs to be able to handle this anyway. Now, the only time when I'm going to step in is if you're trying to get physical with her. Because now that goes beyond her qualifications as a woman. Now as a man to man, now I got to handle you. But if we're just talking about verbal, okay, you try and talk. Try run your game. Try run your risk. Let's see. And if that's a test for her, let's see how she's moving. Because that's the thing that a lot of dudes won't do. See, women are too used to the guy stepping in. And let me tell you what the problem with that is. You don't give the woman the opportunity to prove her loyalty. So how do you really know she really isn't trying to fuck with you like she really is fucking with you like that? Because you never give her the opportunity to step back. And also it shows you don't give that much of a fuck. And you know how women are. The less of a fuck you give, the more of a fuck they give. Like in this guy's situation, he gives too much of a fuck. Now, his woman might give a fuck, but she gives a fuck because she economically is dependent on him. She needs him, right? Which I'm not saying is bad, but that's where a lot of the submission comes from. It comes from dependency on the man, right? That's fine. But my thing is that you're forcing so much things on her that at a certain point, she's going to do a cost-benefit analysis. Right now, the cost-benefit analysis is in your favor. You're going to need to maintain that for as long as you're with her. Because the moment that she makes that cost-benefit analysis a couple times and she feels like, the benefit isn't worth it anymore, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like, one thing this guy could never do, and that sounds like he wouldn't do it, never let her make her own YouTube channel, never let her go off and do something where she could potentially, you know what I'm saying, make money independently of you. Because the moment that she can financially be independent of him, she ain't going to give a fuck about his rules no more. I promise you she ain't. You know what I'm saying? But I think she could just get exhausted and just be like, I'm tired of this shit. She's a human being, bro. So, me personally, I like to let people prove themselves. Prove the fact that you're really like that. If I'm out in the club with you and a guy's trying to look up in your face and he's trying to move to you and he wants to buy you a drink, alright, bitch, what are you going to do about that? What are you going to do? Because if I wasn't here, what would you do? This is my thing. Like, I'm viewing it like, what if I'm not there to impose the rules on her and to please her, what would she do? To me, personally, it don't sound good to think that if I left my woman independently, I would have to concern myself. And that was when I made my video years ago about universal versus selective submission. That was one of the key things I said in it. I said that I don't like the idea that with a universally submissive woman, like what he's got, she will be submissive to any type of person, even other women. That's why he's so concerned about other women. See, my ex, for example, wasn't submissive to other women. You know what I'm saying? A woman couldn't talk no crazy shit into my ex-girlfriend's head because she had her own way of thinking. So even if a woman said some shit, my woman would do her own analysis. Like, does that make sense? Do I agree with that? Everyone can be influenced by other people to a degree. But if the woman respects you, your influence is going to take precedent over everybody else, even her family. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take precedence over other people if she really believes in your leadership. But again, relationships are constantly in flux. They're constantly in motion. So the moment that woman decides, I don't follow this anymore, this doesn't make as much sense to me, that's when she'll decide to move on.
Fine. If another man is buying your girl free drinks at 2 o'clock in the morning, that's like very disrespectful. Because, you know, you should be territorial of someone that you're providing, that you're paying all the bills for. You're putting food on the table.
But why isn't she territorial of you? Because you're right, you are paying all the bills in her door. So that should mean that in her head, she should know better than to fuck up her own opportunity, right? She should know. If she really appreciates you, she should know. And she should be like, rah, nah, nigga, like, don't be doing all this extra shit. You know what I'm saying? Don't be doing all that type of shit, because I'm not with all of it. To me, all you got to do is just tell her what you like and what you don't like, and let her and see what she does. That's it. You can tell her, you know, yeah, man, like, I don't really like it when, you know, like, a woman, like, she's accepting drinks from random guys. Yeah, man, like, I don't really fuck with that. Like, I couldn't take a woman serious. You know, I couldn't take a woman seriously. Like, you let her know what you don't like. You let her know what things you don't like. You don't tell her, like, this is just my personal opinion. He can do what the fuck he wants. But what I'm saying is, the way I would approach it is, I would express the things I don't like and let her decide whether she has, because that's how you know if someone's fucking with you or not. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
You're putting a roof over your head, you're putting clothes on your back, and you're letting another guy buy them drinks? No, that's a no-no right there, man. If another guy, like I said, man, if your girl is smiling in another man's face, that's not something that's not masculine. Okay. You don't have, and to be honest, man, I've been in situations in Thailand, I'll meet some of these guys' girls, they smiling, they jumping in for hugs sometimes. Man, to be honest, I don't even like hugging another man's girlfriend. That's how, like, strict I am when I hang out with other people.
I hear what you're saying.
I don't like touching their girl. Like, unless they go in for a hug or a handshake, I will respectfully, usually I'm trying to give them a handshake because I want to be respectful. I don't even like touching another man's woman. Yeah. I don't like touching their woman. I don't want to touch my girl.
I hear what he's saying. Let's run about that. I hear what he's saying with all that. Like, that last point, I get it. Like, especially he's talking about in Thailand and in Pattaya, which is where he's at, or where he was at. Yes, that's going to happen a lot. But, I mean, that's because these dudes are picking women who are hoes. You know what I'm saying? They're picking women who are hoes. They're picking women who are for fun time. And they're trying to make them long term. You know what I mean? Like, she should be short time, you want her for long time. That's why you're fucking up. But, you know, here's the thing about this, yeah? And this is the reality that we have to face. Whether you want to be this guy who's controlling, or whether you want to be a bit more hands-off like me and not micromanage as much, regardless, you cannot make another human being do whatever the fuck they don't want to do into perpetuity. This woman could wake up in 10 years from now and be like, fuck this nigga. Okay? He could have had kids with her and all this, and she could alienate him from his kids. She could try and use the law against him. It all depends on how things play out. And then she can reference things like this video and be like, see, he was trying to control me. He abused me. He wouldn't let me live my own life. And, you know, in the world we live in today, a lot of people are going to be sympathetic to that. Yeah, you know, and especially you're a black man with an Asian woman. You just got to be real, right? Like, bro, I'll never forget this Korean chick, man. She went to go somewhere. I didn't want to go. She started crashing out and started crying in the middle of the street. And, bro, like, especially where we was, there was a whole bunch of white people there. And now me, even though I knew the optics was bad, I this is where the antagonist came out. The antagonist came out and I just stood there, my arms folded, just looking her dead in her face as she's crying. And I'm just like, you're being goofy. Like, your tears are not moving me. And I don't give a fuck if you cry around all these motherfuckers out here, because I ain't beating you. Okay, I ain't screaming at you. I ain't doing none of that. And I'm telling you, that's where a lot of you niggas would have went wrong. You would have been trying to crash out. You being some black dude who crashing out on some little Asian girl with, nah. We ain't doing all that. I ain't that stupid. So, yeah, sometimes you got to think about the optics, man. Because I don't know. I get where he's coming from, though. So, I'll say that. But anyway, I just wanted to react to this because it's a bit of a different type of thing than I usually react to. But it allowed me to speak on certain topics and subjects that I have spoken about in old videos on my old channel, but that I kind of thought might be quite relevant for this particular discussion. But as usual, I talk way too fucking much and go on for too long, but it is what it is, man. This channel is just here to rant, rave. You throw it on in the background and hear a nigga from the UK talk some shit. That's all this is. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'll catch you guys in the future.